Hello, we're Stark.
Right, I think we'll make a start if that's okay with everybody. So, hi everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Debbie Dickerson and I'll be one of your hosts today. I'm currently an account manager here at Stark, working within the public sector team, and I focus mainly on supporting local authorities. I've actually been in the energy industry for over 35 years, and in 28 of those as a local authority energy manager. So I do genuinely understand the challenges and the pressures that you guys are all under. So I'm really looking forward to guiding you through today's session. And with that, I'll hand you over to Monica.
Thank you, Debbie, and hi everyone. So my name is Monica. I'm a commercial strategy lead here at Stark for MHHS, which is essentially all that today's webinar is about.
Thanks, Monica. So why are we here today and what is our mission? MHS is already underway and the decisions made now will directly affect your budgets, data quality and operation resilience. So our goal is simple: to help local authorities move through MHHS confidently and avoid unnecessary costs, disruption and risk. The timeline is tight, so acting early will keep you in control, and data quality is a major risk. But don't worry, you're not alone, and we're here to guide you to simplify the changes and support your decisions. So ultimately, our mission is to give you clarity, reduce risk and ensure a smooth transition through the migration into MHHS. So how will today's session run? So first we'll spend about 20 minutes just having a walkthrough with the key information. And then at the end, about 10 minutes for questions. So feel free to reach out in the chat, ask questions as we go. Leanne is behind the scenes and I can already see she's popped something in the chat. So if you do have any issues, just reach out there in the chat. We've got a couple of polls for you to join in with, and there's some handouts for you to download, and we'll also share some useful links. So please feel free to bookmark those for later. So today we're going to cover 3 areas: MHS progress and the timelines. So we're just going to give you a brief update on what's happening now and what the timelines mean for local authorities. Then how metering types will affect your billing and why data quality matters. So now I'm going to hand over to Monica, who will obviously guide you through some MHHS and what this means for you.
Thank you, Debbie. So just to start, current position with MHHS. So MHHS, market-wide half-hourly settlement, has been created with a purpose, and it does promise great benefits, but to achieve those, quite a bit of work is actually still required. So the UK's energy system today is built on data, but much of that data is wrong, it's missing, or it is late. So focus from regulators has also been meters on the walls and not the data. So as you can see on here, 1 in 3 electricity meters actually fail to deliver the accurate half-hourly data. And what comes out of it is everything MHHS is aiming to avoid. So we're talking billing errors, we're talking authorities unable to forecast for the future, especially with a tighter budget, and wasting energy where energy could be saved. So if we do continue on this downward path, the nationwide savings, which MHHS is promised and is currently estimated roughly between 1.2 billion and 4.5 billion, will be lost across the market. So in a world moving fast towards electrification and net zero, unreliable data is an inconvenience, and it can essentially be a business risk as well. So MHHS, again, comes with great opportunity to take control in your own hands, to use energy intelligently and pay for what you actually consume and understand the approaches behind the cost. And if this is not within your focus, the risks are listed on here as well. So we're talking increased costs, missed opportunity, as well as moving away from those net zero targets. So as some of you may have already learned in our previous webinars, if not, there will be links for you to to go back to them. So what it does all come down to is electricity settlement and the settlement timetables. So this is drastically changing as part of MHHS, and everyone will feel the changes. Suppliers specifically are being heavily focused here, with these effects coming into effect in July 27. So what you can see on here is how settlement timetables are shortening for quite a bit, actually. So it's coming down from 97% accurate data in today's non-half-hourly world to 100% data in 7 days across the board. So it's really showing how important that accurate data is becoming. What this also means is that your data will have to be processed quicker, your faults will have to be fixed faster, and there's an increased reliance on the manual reads. Also, those cost savings from agent services up front will be more costly down the line if the data quality isn't factored in. So suppliers will actually be exposed to material charge and redistribution roughly to be plus minus 100 million across the supplier market. So supplier charges have always been on the table, but in many occasions, these weren't imposed. So projection February next month, Ofgem is imposing these changes, but more importantly, these timetables will come into effect in July 27, and that's when everybody will actually start to see effect. And at the end of the day, who actually pays? I think some of you may already know the answer. There's inevitable some charges will be passed down on your invoices. So this poor performance will hit much harder. There is an upside from using an agent that outperforms the industry. So while these potential benefits I just spoke about are big, the transition isn't quite as simple. So we're talking a migration of 30 million meters, so strict timetables had to be put in place. So as you can see on here, migration has already started in October 2025, and it will run through to May 27, and it's been split into these 5 waves on your screen. So each supplier agent had to qualify well ahead of the chosen wave in order for the program to give them the green tick to go ahead. So additionally, each supplier also had to submit an MPAN level breakdown of when they aim to migrate their suppliers to ensure the program can actually cope with it all. So on this slide, you can, you can roughly see the amount of migrated MPAN in each wave. And as an example, if your supplier is Empower, they are a wave 1 supplier, they may start migrating your suppliers as of April this year. So it's really important for you to speak to your suppliers to give you that information when they're starting to migrate your suppliers so that you can really prepare well ahead of time.
Right, so first of all, we're just going to do our first little poll. So please join in, let us know your thoughts. So the first poll is, how has your organisation started to prepare for migration? So I'll just give you a few minutes to vote. That's great. So
there's quite a few not yet, so I'm glad you're all here.
That's it. So we'll move on. Are we okay, Monica? Shall we move on?
Yep. Right. So we'll look into a little bit about metering choices and a little bit more dive deep into MHHS. So what you will all see first is this terminology change, and unfortunately a mountain of new acronyms, as if electricity market doesn't actually have already enough of them. So firstly, it will see disappearance of half-hourly and non-half-hourly, and the market is instead being split by meter type. So this introduces 3 new market segments. So these are smart, advanced, and unmetered, as you can also see on the screen. What you can also see here is that your data collector is going into two different sections. So there's going to be advanced data service and smart data service. The same with your meter operator. So this is going into meter service advanced, meter service smart. And lastly, you have your unmetered supplies moving on to UMSDS, short for unmetered supplies data services. So to understand what this means a little bit better, So all electricity supplies are migrating to MHHS. And unfortunately, it is not whether you want them to, it is a mandatory change. So both metered and unmetered supplies will be migrated. And on here, you can roughly see into what they will migrate into. This also covers some of your SMET meters. So these are having that data collected centrally by the DCC, which is short for Data Communications Company. And they're acting as the middleman. So it's taking some of that control out of your hands. A little bit more on that in just a second. So at the bottom, you also see your traditional meters, also called dumb meters. So these meters will need to be replaced to the one that is capable of remote data collection for half-hourly settlement. It's not actually just about new terminology. So as part of qualifying, participants, agents, suppliers had to roll out multiple new systems. So all of our tech teams had to work really hard in the background to get us there. One of them is also this new messaging platform. So some of you may know, suppliers and agents currently exchange flows using the Data Transfer Network, DTN. So this will be a thing of the past, and instead is being replaced by the DIP. So that is the Data Integration Platform. So this means that as part of the system integration, all MPENs suppliers currently with us for MOP DC will need to be reappointed. So on the day of migration, your supplier will de-appoint your chosen agent, not just us. If you have any other agent, they will have to do exactly the same. So they'll have to be migrated and then reappointed in MHHS World, exchanging these new messages and signaling the change. So if some of you are already on your stock ID, you will see these reappointments on your data health section of stock ID. If not, again, there will be links to follow. So just to add to this, we are working closely with our suppliers to ensure minimum disruption, but we do also invite you all to express the importance of imminent reappointment when talking to your chosen supplier. And lastly, we are showing we're ready for migration. We are live in MHHS by migrating MPENs on a daily basis, and we are giving suppliers that confidence that we can accept these new messages and you continue with appointments.
And that's that time again. Just another poll, if you wouldn't mind. This one is asking you, what type of meters does your organisation primarily use? So please have a vote, let us know.
It's nice to see quite a few advanced AMR meters.
Yeah. Right, so we'll move on.
Yeah, 62% we've got an advanced AMR meter, so
That's
great
good
stuff.
to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this slide purely is just showing you the differences between an AMR and which will be an advanced meter against a SMET, because they do often get confused. Here at Start, we do always recommend an advanced meter, primarily for what we can see on here, because as Monica's already alluded to, MHHS data is quality, and it's the key element here. So if you've got an advanced meter, and some of you will already know, you have access to data day +1. I'll just move on. So yeah, there's some hidden costs around SMETs. They often do produce poor, incomplete data, which can lead to billing issues. You've got more engineer call outs, and when they fail, you have to fall back on manual reads, which can become very costly. There's also missed value, because without that reliable half-hourly data, you can't fully benefit from time of use tariffs. So to us, an AMR provides you with that consistent data and avoids many of these hidden costs. Back over to you, Monica.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, so we'll just reiterate a little bit on data quality. So I've mentioned a few times already, it is all about data and the data quality being key, and it's all about who can perform to deliver such requirements. So the task here is on you to choose your qualified agent for both data and metering services, and it's important to assess them against this criteria. So here at Stark, we are the only fully qualified all agent for MHHS, meaning we've proved our readiness, we've completed visibility of data. We're also reassuring you with regulatory assurance, and we are giving you that inside reporting to get this accurate data. So nicely leading on to the next slide. So as I said before, everybody had to do a lot of background work. It also means that to get qualified, it wasn't just a green tick, it wasn't just us signaling we're ready, but rather we had to sit with the program, we had to show them how our systems work, and in order to get all the required qualification. So what you can see on here is that we are covered for all data and metering services. So that's both advanced and smart, as I mentioned before, as well as unmetered and your networking IDNO roles. So this slide, again, just shows you a little bit where your other agents are. So green is being qualified. Gray is what they are yet to qualify for. What it also shows is that actually not all agents can give you that end-to-end solution. So this may potentially cause some disruption, extra contracts, and potentially ramping up your cost. But essentially, the decision is on you. And then just a bit more on the data and the whole settlement of it. So as an agent, we're of course being tracked against the rest of the industry and how we achieve these standards and perform. So this slide just shows you where we are when it comes to half-hourly settlement performance versus the industry. So if you remember that slide where I was talking about settlement timetables, and the aim of MHHS is to achieve their 100% data. So the truth is no one is there yet, but some of us are a little bit closer. That does actually highly depend on you having us as combined meter and data agent. So for example, if we're only collecting your data, but the metering estate and the condition of those meters is in the hands of another agent, then the disruption and delay in data accuracy may be inevitable. I'll pass it on to Debbie now.
Up to me. So just a quick note here about the unmetered supplies. As we've already said, this is definitely included in MHHS. Got too many MHHSs there, MHHS, because it often does get overlooked. So even without a physical meter, UMS still relies on accurate, well-maintained data for settlement. So if you've got poor administration, it can lead to avoidable costs. Stark is the only meter administrator offering online access, giving you real-time visibility, accurate inventories, and fewer billing errors, all of which will become even more important under MHHS. Our software delivers a highly precise consumption tracking aligned with industry standards, and as Monica has already shown you, we are already qualified in this role. So strong data here means stronger control of your unmetered energy costs. Monica, could you just move on for me? Thank you. So just one last thing here I just wanted to highlight is regarding procurement, because I know local authorities often have to deal with long, complex procurement processes. So we've made it easier by accessing our services as easy as possible. Stark's already listed on a wide range of national and regional frameworks, which means like you can call off services like your DC, your MOP, AMR, submetering, etc. So why does this matter? It obviously gives you a compliant route, it's faster onboarding, you've got less internal admin, and you've got immediate access to MHHS support. So whatever your procurement route your authority uses, there is already a compliant pathway. And if you're unsure of which framework to use, then reach out and we can obviously support you on that and finding the most simplest option for yourself. So next, I just want to talk about the finally 3 steps to prepare. So the first step here is all about that conversation you need to have with your agents and your suppliers to stay in control of your metering setup ahead of MHHS. Start by engaging with your metering and data agents early. They're the best people to speak to, and they can guide you through what is needed. Suppliers may want to push you to smart meters as a free upgrade, but opting out lets you choose high-performing technology. Free isn't always better, especially when board data affects your billing. Ask your supplier when you're scheduling to migrate. Timelines can vary, as Monica's already shown you, so knowing when your date helps you and your agent plan properly. And once you've chosen your metering and data agents, double check with your supplier that they will be retained throughout this transition. So that's where we're saying we all will get de-appointed. We just want that to make sure that you get reappointed to your chosen agents. So now that you've spoken with your agents, the next step is to get a clear picture of your metering estate. This isn't extra admin for you. I can handle your audits. I can fully support you on this. So doing a quick metering view tells us what you've got, what's already compliant, and what needs attention ahead of MHHS. You need to look at resolving manually read meters early because they do bring the higher risks and extra costs under MHHS. So that's your likes of your traditional meters if you've got those still sitting on your wall. And also prioritize your high consumption sites because these will have your biggest financial impact. And please don't stress. You don't need to do this alone. Obviously, if you can send me your MPANs, I'll review everything for you and show you what actions need to be taken. So I want to really emphasize that MHHS is not something negative happening to you. It can actually be a good thing. It unlocks opportunities that weren't possible before. So once your meters are ready and your data is flowing half hourly, this is where the real value starts. MHS isn't just about compliance. It gives you richer data to improve sustainability, cut costs, and make better decisions. Half-hourly settlement also opens up cost-saving opportunities like shifting flexible loads into cheaper time of use periods. And finally, half-hourly data is a powerful tool when planning investments because it gives you that solid evidence to justify decisions. So the three takeaways from today. 1, check your data readiness. Know where your data comes from and how accurate is it. Again, share me your MPANs and I can do a review for you. Secondly, engage. Speak to your supplier and your agents. They do to understand what their plans are and how they can support. And then thirdly, set your metering strategy early. This will avoid gaps, extra costs, and ensure you're ready for MHHS from day one. And remember, I'm here to do the heavy lifting for you. As we've said, if you think of something later, just obviously drop us an email. Not a problem. We can support you through. Many of you, some of you, well, I know we're on the call today. We're already managing your estate. We've already perhaps started the journey. We've analysed your metering estate. We've got a plan in place. Some of you have called off a framework and you're ahead of the curve. And I think you'll see that benefit. So yeah, reach out and let's obviously help you prepare. We have quite a lot of documentation we can support by offering briefing documentation, because as I know, within a local authority, the decisions have to go through a certain channel and certain people, procurement, head of services. So it's quite a process, but we can support you through each of those journeys. We do have documentation that we can help with that for you. So yep, so if that's it, if there's no other questions, I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us today, and if you do need anything, please reach out. So thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you everyone. Thank you. Speak to you soon.
Stark, your energy is our world.